What's going on, guys? Josh back again for our last morning in New York City. It is currently pitch black outside and it is about 4:40 a.m. and just like that we've arrived in San Francisco. 8 hours has passed now. The sun is in the sky. Bit chilly here in San Francisco, but we won't let that dampen our spirits. We're currently trying to figure out the train system here so that we can get to our hotel, which apparently we might be sharing a bed for this leg of the trip. But yeah, then we've got Alcatraz tonight, which will be interesting. Yeah, now we're trying to figure out our train and then we can get this day started. Here we go. Alright, so we have our train tickets now. We think we know the train that we need to get on to go to our hotel. After Daniel's kerfuffle with the ticket machine we got through. So yeah, these are our first looks at San Francisco. Montage. Here we go. So we're in the heart of San Francisco now, walking to our hotel, and it's very evident, very early, that it's really hilly. Is this it? Ah, we found our hotel. Oh, this is already pretty fancy. There's wood floors. First door opening. Oh my god, it's tight. It's really nice. Look at that.
Can I come in?
Look. You know how we wanted more room?
Yep.
We've got it.
Easy. Oh, it's plenty of room. Compared to the last one.
Yeah.
Skip. You're saying Dean's dating my sister because of her skin? No, I mean...
Alright, so some time has passed. We had a little bit of a nap and caught up on sleep that we didn't get last night. We just had an Uber cancel on us. And yeah, now we're going to Alcatraz for our self-guided night tour. So when we get there, it'll be daytime. By the time we leave, it'll be dark. So yeah, that should be cool. That's what we'll be doing next. Daniel was a little salty when we woke up, but I think he's getting over his crappy mood now. And yeah, we're going to Alcatraz. So yeah, let's go there. Alright, we are inside the prison now. We're about to do our audio tour, so we get a little earpiece, and a man's been taking us up the hill. So we're going to do our audio tour, and then we get like free time when we get to go and explore and do some of our own stuff, so we'll do that. This is a little bit of a montage from the audio tour. Just some shots and stuff that I get, and then we'll go and do a free explore after that. that was the audio tour finished. Very educational. Actually learned quite a lot about the like the breakouts and murders, and a bit about the criminals, and they had actual criminals talk in it as well. Good all-round tour of the building, and now we're going to do another guided tour by a guy about the most hated criminals and the convict code, so all of the rules that the prisoners made for the other prisoners to abide by, and then we'll do another guided tour, because I don't think there's that much open to the public that you can just walk around in apart from what we already just went through. Correct?
Si, senor, si.
Si. You've been watching Mickey Mouse too much. Alright, so let's do this tour with this man, and he seems rather insightful, and we'll go from there. Alright, so that tour thing wasn't exactly what I was actually anticipating. I thought it was actually a walk around tour, when in fact we actually just kind of sat here and he talked us through it. But I talked to the staff members here, and they said that if we go up these stairs just in front of us, we can get around to like the recreation area, and there's meant to be a lot of... oh, they've finlocked it. This here, where this chain is, leads us up to the area where we're supposed to be going.
There's a sign,
but it's been shut off. What's that? Alright, so it turns out we missed the recreation area by 10 minutes. They shut because we were too busy listening to that guy talk. This is A block here, where the cells are just as big as our room in New York. Now that it's getting a bit darker, I'm going to switch from video mode to camera mode so that I can take some photos. Oh, yes! Look at this! Everything is so much cooler at night time, or dusk. So half of the tourists are gone, Daniel's gone, and I'm kind of in the prison by myself now. Like, there's still a couple of people walking around, but most of them are on tours. It's very quiet, very eerie. Got the prison almost to myself now. The control room where everything was done before. This is through to the Warden's office. This is the uniforms I used to wear. And this through here was the Warden's office. So this is where all of the work was done. Yeah, it's cool being here by myself. Because normally when I do exploring old rundown abandoned places, I am by myself.
If you could pull this shut behind you.
Yep.
I don't know if you heard much about what this was, but originally on the top of the island there was a fortress up here called the Citadel. It was built in 1857, so it was for housing the military soldiers who were living on the island, and this building here at the top was like the last retreat. You locked yourself in if you were under attack. And then this was the outside of the building, and it went up for 2 more stories on top up here. And all the windows were these rifle slits, just like you see in castles everywhere.
Yep.
Iron doors, so you could defend by closing your window and shooting into the ditch, or you could send your soldiers into the ditch to take on anybody who was invading here. And the idea of the ditch going in all these different directions, it's a blind corner, so you could send defensive soldiers this way, defensive soldiers this way, corner the attackers in what's called a bastion, and slaughter them right here. All the nice brickwork that's very well done, this all goes back to 1857. When this building was demolished, they took off the top 2 floors and built the cell house over the basement and over the dry moat. So any of the really sloppy looking brickwork that's really poorly done, this was done with the bricks from the original building, but by the prisoners to hold up the cell house.
Oh, okay.
So there's many different layers in here.
Yeah.
And then the fresh concrete, this is stuff we put in a few years ago to hold up the whole building, because all of the steel turned into that. And these rooms here are of some significance because this is where prisoners were locked when they were breaking the rules here on the island. So if you were Al Capone and you came here in 1934 and you were caught talking, you would have been brought down here because there was a silence rule, a complete silence rule for the first 5 years here. If you're a prisoner, couldn't talk in the cell house, couldn't whisper, couldn't sing in the shower, nothing. So you'd be brought down here and put into one of these cells. And you would have been sleeping on the concrete floor, a bucket for your toilet, bread and water, not too comfortable. The cool thing about these cells here is that there's a lot of graffiti in them. So there's graffiti from the Indians who were here in the 70s.
So what happened with those Indians? Me and my brother, well, we're about to go home and Google it ourselves.
Yeah, they were all protesting the government here. So they were here after the prison closes, and they occupied this island to protest the government because the U.S. government was taking them off their tribal lands.
Yeah.
Probably similar to the Aboriginals in Australia, right? They're removing everything from them, and they figure that it's better to force Indians to live in big cities than on reservations. The Indians didn't like that, so they came out here to protest, and they took over this island.
Okay.
So the graffiti is from the Indians.
Yeah.
But these are prisoner numbers in here. So all these numbers were scratched in the wall by convicts who were doing time down inside these dungeons in here. We can take these numbers and look them up and find out who the folks are.
Oh, wow.
So that's how we do all of our research out here. 11073, 10400. These are all military numbers. So these are people who are about 100 years ago, 1917. Pretty old.
So that through there is the original building?
Inside is the original building.
And this is the moat here?
Right.
Got it.
And these were the original windows, but then in later years they took out the original gun slits and they put in larger windows to let in more light.
So that would have been full there, wouldn't it? And that would have been a gun.
Slit here, slit there. Yeah, they did this to open it up, bring in more air.
Yep.
And what were these rooms were used for originally? These were kitchens and bakeries and storerooms, and essentially slave labor worked in them. Chinese and Irish women.
Oh, wow.
And they were doing the work, cooking and doing all the laundry for the soldiers who lived upstairs. These two spaces in here, these are the only two cells that were in the building. So this one here had a window. That one was a dark cell, kind of like the D block cells.
Yep.
So they had two cells in this building. They would have been used not for prisoners that were brought to the island, but for soldiers who were committing crimes who lived and worked here. And now we're on the D block side. So D block is above us right now. If you look down here, this had a brick wall, and we knocked out this brick wall a few years ago. That's why all the bricks are there. And we found this toilet back here. So there would have been a wooden throne, probably a two-seater, and down there you can see the tunnel. That's the sewer tunnel on the right side down there that goes all the way out to the bay.
Oh, yeah.
So this was a perfect place to escape if you knew where you were going.
Do they know if anybody did go through here, or?
Nobody did because it was bricked up by the prison.
Yeah.
However, if you've ever seen that movie Shawshank Redemption,
Yep.
the prisoner who breaks his way out through the sewer tunnel, the idea for that movie comes from this idea here. So this pipe comes from D block, that one comes from C block. They're all going down into that brick tunnel. And all this architecture had to penetrate through all the old architecture. So it's lots of confused layers here.
Yeah.
So essentially you're standing in 1857 down here under a 1909 cell house in the year 2017. There's the cell doors up there, hear that?
Yeah.
So imagine if you were a prisoner down here locked in the dark in punishment down there, you'd hear all the toilets flushing, you'd hear the doors banging up and then closed, but nobody could hear you down here in the dark for up to 2.5, 3 weeks. Not exactly the most comfortable experience.
No.
This is the inside of the building, so we're going down the main corridor through the building. So these are all those kitchens and storerooms and things like that.
Yep.
And these are old remnants of stairs. So there's a partition in the floor, that line, solid wall originally. This side was for the enlisted soldiers, that side was for the officers. And it went up 2 stories. So all the soldiers had to go up this set of stairs from the kitchens up to their apartments, and they only had wooden stairs. They had nothing fancy here. So these are the remnants of the wooden stairs. But if you go and look on this side, the officers, of course, they have to have everything better. So they had iron stairs, and these are the remnants of their old stairs going up into the upper quarters up there.
Yeah.
There's graffiti from the Indians on the doors and things. So the Indians came down here, they camped out and hung out down here a lot too. watch your head there.
So they really had total control of this entire island, didn't they, the
did.
Indians?
What do you think that is down there?
That looks like, I'd say somewhere you'd take dead bodies.
There's another privy. It was an officer's toilet down there. Single hole. Extra privacy for you down there. Extra short because they had to knock down the ceiling to put this beam in right here to hold up the cell house. So all this up here, that's the floor of the cell house above us.
So that was ridiculously cool. I was just walking around taking some photos by myself and managed to, I just started a conversation with one of the guards here about, you know, what I do in Australia, going through abandoned buildings and that sort of stuff. And then he offered me an exclusive tour of the underground moat. Come on, focus, of the underground moat and everything that was here originally. So that's all of the footage that you just saw. That was really cool. That's not on the bill. Nobody gets to see that because of the asbestos, and there's no way out. So you're not allowed down there. So this is exclusive Alcatraz footage. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, because I do this sort of stuff a lot. I'm on tour, not on tour, I'm on holiday in the States at the moment, but heading back to Australia for more abandoned buildings soon. Yeah, take care of yourself, think about your food choices. Peace.